All right. Why, welcome to a Fifth of Jack Gaming. Here we go. Here we're going to have some fun. We got some We Are Live action. Hey, James, how's it going, buddy? Hopefully everything checks out pretty well. We got some good haul action that's going to be coming. I got at least 3 boxes to be able. Hey, Lebrowski. Am I coming in clear? Hopefully. Zoom, 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 zoom. All right. Picture's a little fuzzy. Okay, let's see if we can do a little settings here with it. Camera, boop, boop, high def, touch up my appearance. Maybe it's a little dusty. Oh. All righty. Give me a quick second. We slap the door over the town so we just got some gas. Last minute guess. All right, let's focus up. Here we go. So we got 3 boxes that we have from Organic Price Books. And if you use the code of Fifth of Jack, you get $2 off. Or if you use the code with 4 more books, you can use the code Jacket Together to 5% off your entire order. All right, with that said, how's everyone doing tonight? I know we're here. We're going to crack some boxes. We're going to be chilling. It's just going to be a nice little live stream. If you don't have a game plan, we may have people pop in. We may have people pop out. We may not have anyone pop in. We never know. That's why I call this going live, because you never know what's going to be happening. So like I said, we got 3 boxes. And obviously they're from Organic Price Books. We got their nice little numbering with it. So we got a little bit of a job to do today. Or I should be saying tonight. This is our normally I have at least 1 haul video, and I like to be going with it live because it gets a little bit more experience behind the mic, gets a little bit more comfy, allows me to interact with you guys. So that's where I'm kind of excited about going over and doing this. So let's crack the first one open, but we gotta beware because some of the packages may have peanuts in them, and that's okay because it's biodegradable, and they have a bunch of new people also packing their orders for us. So that's a good way to be able to help out, but you still get pretty good shipping from Organic Price Books. And if you don't like to have the peanuts, you can get a hold of the customer service, be able to send that message over to them, let them know that you don't like the peanuts, and they'll put a note on there, and you'll just get the regular old packing job. All right, let's crack the first one. It's not your typical OP box. It looks like they reused the Lunar box, which is fine. It's good to recycle. Oh, I'm going to call this the Justice box. You guys don't need to see that. This is that order that when the missus lets you off the rails and do whatever you end up wanting. This is the repercussions that comes out of that for you. But like you said, there's going to be some packing peanuts. That's fine. We'll work around it. I love it how the order that they ended up packing these in here. coming out the gate. Justice League, the New 52, Volume 1. It's an omnibus that I've been looking at. I've read a little bit of this over on Hoopla, which is another good fun app to be able to let you be able to figure out what you ended up wanting and what you don't like for the price of free. Well, I guess it's technically free, but it's just a cost you of signing up for a library card and be able to set it up. Hopefully that library has access to Hoopla. I had a crazy sale going on, so we ended up picking this up. And this was before the Black Friday sale. So, yeah, that's right. OPB has been having a lot of sales right now going on. I think they have a crazy one going on right now. What are they calling it right now? Oh, it's called the blowout sale. Okay. Maybe we'll go over that in a second. I got a few tabs that's going to be set up that we can go over and be able to break it down. So we got Volume 1. You know what's better with that? Well, when you instantly complete a set, get rid of those pesky peanuts. With Volume 2, so we got Volume 1 and Volume 2 of Justice League, New 52. The earlier one did have a little bit of Jim Lee art, Jeff Johns on action, Jason Farbach on this one, David Finch. Sounds like a solid little thing. Plus, in our library, this is great representation of Justice League. That's something we ended up wanting to have. We got it with Avengers. We got it with Fantastic Four. It's time to get some DC. Even more satisfying than sliding right in there. Woohoo! That's the truth. Man, I'm very popular. When I get streaming, I'll be like, holy smokes, phone's going off. Everything's going crazy. While we're talking about OPB with their stuff, we're going to present. Yeah, share the screen real quick. Share screen. And we're going to select the little stocking stuffer area and share that. All right. So we're going to be sharing this. We got the little blowout sale that they got going on right now. It's another way you could get a good discount. Some crazy books that you're going to be having. I believe Creepshow didn't come out until like late or recently. You got Sevens to Eternities, Birthright, Magic the Gathering. Oh, man. That's something that's going to be amazing to be able to read over. I read that in the singles. It's not too bad. It's by Jed MacKay, so it's another solid read that you can end up doing. This is book 2, so there's a first book that I think they ended up selling out of. So this is their latest sale that they ended up having. They have 16 pages worth of stuff. I'm not going to go over all the 16 pages, or if I do, it's going to be just a quick little look over. Oh, we picked this up, the Batman and Robin Adventures omnibus. We picked that up in a recent haul. I want to say that was a couple months ago. X-Men, Mutant Massacre, The Prelude. This is one of those books that you have a couple different choices that you could end up collecting it. You could end up getting into Uncanny X-Men, Volume 5, and then also the X Factor books that you could end up picking those up. Or you could just pick this up and have this go before your Mutant Massacre. Rom. A little bit of Rom. Daredevil. Another unsung hero of Uncanny X-Force by Rick Remender. I've heard nothing but good things about that, and it's a very solid story is what I've been told, and it's probably Remender's best work so far. You even got Chip Zdarsky's Volume 1 that you can end up picking up. Volume 2 is dropping at the end of this year, or the end of the month, so you'll be able to have that set up. Punisher Max by Jason Garth Ennis. World War Hulk, Fear Agent. This is one of those I'm kind of tempted to be able to pick up myself. I've thought about that a few times. And these are the Remender books, which are going to be huge. They're like a library size book. And to be able to get the whole set for a cost of one book, it's kind of amazing to be able to pick that up. Some Masterworks. Oh man, some good old Daredevil, Artist Edition, Devil's Reign, Omnibus. I was tempted to pick this up, but since I'm getting the Chip Zdarsky's, this is going to have the main storyline, which is perfectly fine for my likings. You can end up collecting how you want to be collecting it. There's no one way to be able to collect your books, just however you want to collect it. It's up to you to choose what path you go and what way that you end up figuring out. That's also true. That's so true. I wish people could understand that. This for me, I read the one storyline that I ended up liking was the Villains for Hire, but I have that in a single issue, so I'm not so worried about it. Art of Invincible, the season 1. Oh, Brubaker action with Captain America: Return of Winter Soldier. Oh, why does this have to be volume 2? I need to pick up volume 3. Goodness gracious, Great Balls of Fire. Another one that I'm getting a little bit tempted to pick up is Green Lantern Corps by Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason. That also had the second volume that recently dropped. Lazarus is another one I've been thinking about. Scumbag. I don't want to get into the Absolute, but I've been told that the Absolute Superman for all seasons is a pretty good one to be able to pick up to get started in that. And honestly, I'm going to stay away from the Absolutes because they're a little bit big, and I'd rather have some of the library action size books, especially the storylines like Vox Machina and Critical Role. All those books are library size. So those are two we'll be fighting for storage on my shelves. 8 Billion Genies was another solid book. And for $20, that's kind of a steal for that book, especially of how crazy that came out. That first issue was going for bonkers money. You get into the holiday season with some Claws action. Walking Dead, Three Jokers, Hulk Maestro. Classic Transformers. So there's the big thing about this. This is from IDW, who did end up losing the licensing to Transformers. So that's going to be something that you have to be thinking about before you end up diving over into volume 3. Oh, it looks like it's sold out anyway. So that's kind of good protection. But that's definitely something you have to think about because I ended up starting that. I'm in phase 2. I only have a few books into it, but I know there's a phase 3 even. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Cinder, Todd McFarlane's Artist Edition. Here's a good one. It's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the ongoing from IDW. This is going to get this has been getting a reprint, and this is going over. Oh, it's another sold out. Holy smokes. All the books I want to talk about. Some DuckTales. War of the Kings. With War of the Kings, it's also good to end up having, I believe that's Annihilation Conquest to go before that. Batman, No Man's Land. Well, we're a little bit over halfway through it, so we might as well try muscling this out here. If you didn't want the trade paperback, you got the hardcover of the deluxe. And that's going to be the library size. So these are going to be some huge books as well. Mirrorverse. The Boys, Volume 1, a signed version of Volume 1. Cyber Frog. A little variant action. OHC action. Another absolute monstrous hardcover. Mouse Guard. That's another one that it's inspired a Magic set. Magic the Gathering ended up having a recent set of Bloomsbarrow, where they ended up having art that was inspired from stuff like this. I believe the artist was actually working on a few cards of that set too. Nice little crossover action. Some more TMNT. Dang. Gotham Central. If I end up knocking out the video, this may be in my top 5 books that I've read this year. It was a solid read, and it was my first exposure to both Greg Rucka and Brubaker. And honestly, I wanted to read the Captain America series, and I ended up picking up from Bowski the first one, and that ended up setting it all, or finishing up that set. So I finally have all 5 of them. I'm kind of tempted to make that a July event, though, because that way, well, it's Captain America and it's America's birthday. So it seems like July would be a perfect time for that. Let us know what you ended up thinking about that. Oh, Young Avengers. I'm reading this as an issue to issue with Chris over at, oh man, Marvel Ultimate Alliance. He ends up having this as the comic book thing, and we're slowly reading some of the issues to that. And it's so tempting to actually dive in and read farther ahead, but you gotta have some control to be able to read and keep up with them. Oh, it's been killer so far, though. A little Flash action, a little Cocoa era, another Remender book, Paper Girls, Absolute Kingdom Come, another one I would be tempted to buy. Before Watchmen, Decorum is another Hickman book. So if you're a big Jonathan Hickman, that's another way you can end up going with it. And like I said, when you hear Brubaker, you think of Sean Phillips. And when you talk about those two, you think of Sleeper and obviously Criminal. You have all 3 volumes, it looks like, available in the deluxe format. So it's going to be a little bit bigger of a format that you could be able to read. Longbow Hunters, this is volume 2. This is also, I believe, what inspired for Green Arrow from the CW. Capullo and Snyder's run on Batman. Another super tempting is this Green Lantern by Jeff Johns. You have volume 2, volume 3 right now that's over here currently available. But it's common knowledge where this is pretty much the run for Green Lantern, I would say. And you end up having the events of Blackest Night, which is the big event, which that's why I ended up choosing to represent the Green Lanterns, is the Blackest Night event book. But if I ever do get into a house that ends up having more storage, this is definitely going to be something that's going to be right on that list to pick up. The Ultimate Collections of Invincible. Invincible is an amazing story, something that I would honestly suggest anyone to read. You have multiple different ways that you can end up reading it. You have the Ultimate Edition, you have the Library Edition, you have the Soft Compendium, you have the Hard Compendium. Oh man, there's so many different ways. Jeff Johns JSA. Talking about some Critical Role action, you end up having the Origins, where this has series 1 and series 2 both together. It was a solid read. I would say it's a 7, especially if you're a fan of the show. Then it's going to be cranked up to like an 8 or a 9, because it gives you a little bit more lore. Hey, we just popped this bad boy open. It's Justice League Volume 1. A little bit more TMNT action. Kind of wish this was going past Christmas and I could be seeing what I end up picking up and what I need to end up filling those holes with. And that covers the sale. So we'll go back on over. Awesome. I totally agree with us. As I say, it was a solid read. And the thing is what's amazing is that you have the day and the night shift, and where you had the two different writers be able to interact with one another. And honestly, you don't see much of Batman, and people consider it as a Batman because it's like in Gotham or Gotham Central. Obviously, it's in Gotham, but it's just the blending of those two writers and the entire storyline that goes along with it and the character development. Oh, I can't remember if I did a review or not on that, but I should have if I did. All right. Let's crack 2 from Organic Price Books. I love the box on this. I got to say, I love their boxing with this. This didn't come through the USPS, though. This came actually from UPS, which is kind of a little bit crazy. So they were really trying to get stuff out and get it out quick. Which, if you're waiting for any kind of orders and all that, that's going to be a little bit thing because they have a big sales going on. And honestly, they had back-to-back sales, so I'm not surprised. Got a little bit more Peanuts action. Yay! You steal that first box. It's going to be finding a good home for those Peanuts. Get rid of that. Oh, this is more, what does it say? Non-responsible adulting. I got a Jake book. Oh, and I got a book that I'm so excited about. Slide that down. Slide that right there. Get rid of that box. So let's start off with Jake. Jake from Brave and the Boys is always ended up talking to us about this book, and specifically heavily suggested me to pick it up at some point, and still influences a little bit about this book. And it was on sale, and it's an omnibus. And I'm going to say the writer on this doesn't have the best rep. He did a little stuff back there that's a little bit shady. And the artist, unfortunately, isn't with us anymore. But this book is Planetary. So we ended up finally picking this up, adding this to the library. We went a little bit heavy with DC, evidently, this time around. And it's written by Warren Ellis, and the art is by John Cassaday, which did, for me, what is it? Astonishing X-Men is what I know him from. This is also one of them that everyone ends up knowing him from. So that's a nice, solid way that it comes over with it. I don't know when we're going to get to it, but we're going to have to get to it because it's heavily seen as a good book. I think Jake would be saying I should have got the Absolute, though. And the book that was in here that I'm super excited is that we ended up getting the deluxe cover of this. And this is one of those series that we're going to be diving into with each deluxe that they come out with it. Well, not series, I should say universe. But we got the direct market cover of Junkyard Joe, the one that Omnibuddy loves, which we share that love with him. It's a deluxe edition, so it's a bigger book. It's a size that's legitly like a library size. It's bigger than an omnibus, so it's a big old boy. Well, in height, not in width, because it's not bad. But like this has the little dog tags that's on there, and that's where I love that little subtle touch that came along with it. Don't get me wrong, the standard cover is good and everything, but this is what I wanted to have with it. Plus, I also have a direct market cover of Geiger. So I think I'm going to try going direct market covers for the entire universe, whether I like it or not. So, but then I'm not doing what I'm supposed to. You're supposed to collect what you end up liking. So that may end up changing down the road. Did you guys get anything good so far? How's the prepping for Christmas going? We just legitimately came in, what, an hour ago? We got a little bit last minute Christmas shopping. It's a week away from Christmas. Holy crap. I can't believe how far away with it. I got to be careful because that's going to get a little nuts. And it gets a little bit more crazy because a few days after Christmas, it's my big birthday. And oh my goodness. It rocked when growing up and all that, because after you get all the new toys from Christmas, you rip those open and then they got all boring and everything. But then a few days later, guess what? You get to open up more toys. But then you have the rest of the year that you don't have anything to crack open. So, So another thing that we've been going over with, and I've done a few videos on it, and I would be saying, is this backer kit? Let me get back over to the top here. This has the stuff that's from Star Comics, aka Marvel Comics at the time. This has those original comics that came back in 85 is when it first came out. This is going to have all 24 issues. You got two different ways that you can end up picking this up. You got the Omnibus, which you have two different covers. You have the classic cover, which is going to be the original cover that you end up having. And then you're going to also have the Deacon cover that I like to be saying. Or you can go with the two soft covers that can end up going. Each soft cover has 12 issues. So you can end up collecting this however you end up wanting it. I'm not just saying this because we've also backed this. We also picked up the Deacon cover. And with you picking up the Omnibus ways, you end up getting special access to these two covers, right, or these two issues right here. I believe this is issue 12 and 13. I can't remember what, but these are going to be specifically for the people that ended up picking up the Omnibus route. If you didn't pick up the soft cover, or you've picked up the soft covers and didn't pick the Omnibus, you're not going to end up getting this little perk. It's a nice project that you can end up having where you can have the more classic Thundercats and be able to get that entire line that's going. So if you want to read more Thundercats after reading Deacon's current run that he has ongoing right now, you can end up diving in back to the day of when the original series was coming out. I'll have a link over at for the replay coming over with that as well. All right, so we got that. We got one more haul that we end up having in the box. So we got one more in the chamber. And I can't remember what this book is. This legit came in today. So this may be a various different books that could end up going. I have an anchoring of what it is, but the only way we're going to find out is if we crack this bad boy open and see what's inside. Get rid of the invoice. And what they sent me was a box of peanuts. I'm not eating these though. No, I promise there's a book that's inside this. I'm just going to try sprinkling that off back into that one box that I had before. Okay. I see what's being put down. This is another series I ended up reading in the single issues before they came out. Whoa. Easy, buddy. And this is going to be the standard cover of Death of Wolverine. Yeah, this is one of those characters I'm going to be a diehard for. Between Spider-Man and Wolverine, I'm going to get every advantage that I can get on any kind of omnibus that's coming out of him. So that means we're also going to pick up volume 6 or anything like that. And got to have a big readathon that's going to be going on. I want to pick up Jason's Aaron's run as well. Spider-Man, I have a game plan is once the volumes end up cracking into where you have the artist specifically editions, that's where I'm going to stop because I don't want to be double dipping because budget doesn't allow that to happen. There's a few other things that we've added that we're going to be trying to get the runs off. We're working on getting a full run of Uncanny X-Men. That's going on with that. We need to pick up volume 4, so we're going to wait for a reprint of that. Once that comes out, then we'll pick that up. And then we got to pick up evidently all the storylines as well. So like Inferno, Age of Apocalypse, and all that entire storyline we got to end up picking up. I also want to pick the Jim Lee and Chris Claremont volume 2 since we got volume 1. Or not volume 2, volume 1 since we have volume 2. We got to end up getting that signed by Jim Lee. So kind of that's going to be always staying in the collection. And I would like to go over with it, but I think that's going to end up double dipping somewhere. I don't know where it ends up double dipping. But that was also the perfect home for the Extinction Agenda where I put those between volume 1 and volume 2. I have a place set for that. And I digress because I got to be talking about this bad boy. This has a whole lot of Wolverine action. And let's be honest, we knew he wasn't going to be dead long. I mean, look at the days of Superman when he ended up actually dying and all that. He was gone for what? A whole month or something like that? I think. I can't even remember how long Wolverine was gone for. I want to say it was less than a month. But it's something that we have in the collection. Other runs that we ended up diving into recently is Daredevil. I have to pick up Wade's run. So I got to pick up both volumes of that. I got to pick up Soul's run. And then I'm being caught back up to the modern era of that, I believe, because Bendis comes out next year. The rest of Sardarsky's run comes at the end of this year. And we're not going to go way, 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 way back with Daredevil. We're just going to step up from Frank Miller and go forward. Frank Miller did end up making a nice love affair, and that's one character that I personally, growing up, got totally wrong. What's a character that you guys ended up getting wrong? And you're like, oh my goodness, I was so wrong about this. But all right. So it's a huge haul. We got that going on. Well, it's a big haul. And it's a good way to be able to end 2024 with, because obviously this is going to be the last live video of the year, because we shoot for doing this at least once a month. So if that's something you're interested in, to hit that little bell to be able to be notified whenever we come out with new content. And go all He-Man style here. Whoop. Planetary, Junkyard Joe, Death of Wolverine, Justice League Volume 1 and Volume 2. Got a little bit of happy action that comes over with that. Good solid pickups. And I think this is actually the first time that we went so heavy into DC. I think we actually went the full gamut, though, because we have an independent with Image / Ghost Machine. And then we have DC being represented with Justice League and Planetary, and Marvel being represented with, well, the Death of Wolverine. So that's going to be a nice little thing. So I guess we'll just chill out. If you guys want to be end up talking a little bit, let us know what we end up doing, what we want to be talking about. Or we always could call it a wrap, because that's the entire books that we ended up cracking. But like I said, I'm always game to chill out more. Boom, 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 boom. Share screen. And go that. And here you go. Well, we got the little poll list action that we could end up talking about a little bit. Big thing that's coming over with this, we got Thundercats. That didn't come out this week like they ended up saying that it says over here at League of Comic Geeks. I tried acquiring that and they said it's not out yet. I've checked with a couple different spots. I did end up getting Ultimate Spider-Man. And since we have a few books, I ended up picking up a few little spicy numbers that you'll have to see Sunday when we end up dropping our single Sundays and be able to rank those guys. So we're going to end up having that to end up being ranked. Important program note is next week, my comic book store is going to be shut down because they're going to be observing Christmas. They normally take a break that goes on with that. And we're not going to end up having a single Sundays. We'll have to try filling it in with something else. Maybe we'll just end up trying to break down to analyze our poll, what we ended up picking up, what's on the chopping block, and figure out from what's going on with that. I recently went through the collection and put most of it over here on the League of Comic Geeks where you can keep track of what you end up having in your collection with the covers and specifically anything like that. I haven't went into the single issues yet. I'm kind of scared. I have 4 long boxes worth that is a backlog that I would have to end up putting in there. But I have most of the omnibus and stuff like that that's right here into that. That's at a 5th of Jack Gaming, if that's something that you, or a 5th of, or that's at a 5th of Jack, if you end up having to want to link up with that. I also have a Goodreads that ends up going over with it, where I'm starting to rank stuff. Oh, it's out on the Kindle. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. Yeah, because I was trying to get a hard copy of that because anyone that knows me, I've been loving Thundercats. I loved Apex. I love the setup with that. If you haven't read it, I'm not going to spoil it for you. There's a twist that comes over with it. And for me, it's kind of who I was expecting, but not the way that it was. But Apex is, oops, sorry, I didn't mean to hit the table. Apex is a brand new character that's being added to the Thunderverse. So that's kind of a neat little way that goes over with it. And I kind of wanted to see what role he's going to play into that book. That's where I'm going to go pretty hyped into that Thundercats episode, or issue 11. And I think issue 12 and issue 13 are going to be the covers that you can end up getting from the Kickstarter from that Thundercat omnibus. So obviously you won't be getting it in time for that. That's going to be coming out in May, I believe, is when they're planning on shipping out all the books. Excuse me. Of course, James knows. Oh, haha. I'm going to get a little bit better with this. I kind of forgot that I could end up clicking with it. But I would like to thank you guys all for watching and stopping by, going through the nice little haul action that we ended up having. I know it's a little quicker of a video, but I feel like that's a little bit more comfy, a little bit more having more fun time that's going on with this video. There's a few things, and if you could suggest it, ooh, while reading Refix for about half of it into it. Yeah, it's, I kind of wish there was another issue that breaks down what happened or how it happens. So I have a feeling they're going to tackle that into the storyline of Thundercats. That's why I'm kind of excited to read that. Also, I heard or I saw there's going to be another spinoff series that's going to end up having that from the writer of Apex, where he's going to be writing the second wave of the new Thundercats. So you're going to have like Linkso, Begali, Amira, those Thundercats that came over that came in the later seasons. So that's another way that's going to be expanding the Marvel or the Thunderverse. And then with Sitara just wrapping up, Sitara ended how exactly what I was expecting, how it would have ended. And it was a story that I ended up enjoying. It was only a 5 mini issue series. And I think Apex was only a one shot, is what the game plan was. So I'm hoping they keep on going over where Thundercats or this Thunderverse ends up picking up an Omnibus, and I'll be the first one to pick that bad boy up because I'm loving it. The art, I'll agree with Tyler over at Illuminati about that. The art is okay. I can deal with that. But the story, I'm loving that what Deacon ended up coming up with. I'm thinking about actually wanting to go back through, look at single issues, and then break down what episodes that they could be inspired from and what you can end up watching with that. Oh, yeah. That was a solid run all the way through. I think. Let me put these guys down. I don't know where I put 5. I don't think I've cataloged 5 yet. Oh, I didn't. It's right there. Ha ha. I would have to say it's solid. Whoop. We got 1. These are all like cover A's too. 2. 3. 4. And finally, 5. And don't sleep on some of the covers that we have for Thundercats, because this live action isn't too shabby. And I think my favorite, honestly, out of the bunch of the standard covers, I should say, at least, of the Thundercats is this. I'm a big sucker for the Thunder Tank. Matter of fact, what if you got to go through the fantasy realm? What one vehicle would you pick? Because for me, I would strongly pick the Thunder Tank. That would be the first vehicle I would be picking. Next up would be the Party Wagon. And if you get technical, can I pick up Optimus Prime since he has a vehicle mode? So I guess that could be something. That'd be a nice idea for a video. Top 5 vehicles from comics or cartoons or from fantasy. Let's just put top 5 vehicles from fantasy. Do an OmniDog, write it down, and be able to come out with a video with that. That's something that's going to be coming out. Oh, that's right. I'm going to be dropping top 5 videos starting next year. So I'll give you a little peek of the content. We're going to end up dropping top 5 videos that we're going to be coming. Each month's going to at least have one top 5 video that's going to be coming out from each month. So we're going to have at least 12 of those bad boys. We may end up having more. We're going to have to see how we end up working that into the schedule. We're hoping on ramping up. The Turtle Cat from SWAT Cats. That's the big jet that they ended up having. That was amazing. I ended up watching that in the cartoons. Oops. Oh. I only watched a few episodes of that. I only watched what was on Boomerang. I had the Jake syndrome when I was watching that on Boomerang when I was growing up. And that was amazing. Still another show that I'm surprised hasn't got a remake yet. I've heard rumors of like books and remakes going over, but they just haven't materialized yet. But there's so many different places that you can end up going. You could go all the way over. You could get Kit from Knight Rider. Um, well, you can have the van from the A Team. He even had the Punisher's battle wagon, Spider-Man Spider Buggy. That worked out pretty good in Logan for a hot second. Oh man, now I'm thinking about all these different vehicles that could be ended up adding. It's getting a little bit exciting with it. Then you can also go top 5 weapons. Oh, I was gonna say I gotta remember this. I gotta write this down as soon as we get done with the stream. Getting excited with the ideas of what we end up having here. XR Robot Magus. Is that Gundam? Why do I feel like that's a Gundam? What is that, James? What's that from? I wonder what that's from. Magus. Let's look this up real quick. What is it called? XLR. XLR. All right, let's see what we got here. Is that the guy you're talking about? I don't think I ever actually watched an episode of that. How is that show? I may have some homework to do. The top of it is a car. What the? Okay, okay. May have to add that to the little homework pile. James over here dropping some big knowledge over on us here. That's awesome. All right, so we're going to try wrapping her up right here. we got some good video ideas. So we got some top fives that's going to be coming out. You have to pay attention to next year. That's where we're going to end up starting to do the top fives. So that's a little content spoiler for you. Something that we're going to be coming over. There's a couple of things we're going to be trying to hit 2025 a little bit heavier than what we hit 2024. We're going to try to come out with a little bit more content. We're going to try to be a little bit more consistent. That's going to be coming out to you guys because that's the only way to be fair. I want to get this channel to be growing. The long goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers, but what we're going to start off is getting to a 250 goal, and then we're going to go 500, and then after that we'll go 1,000. So we're going to have a 3-tier goal that's going to be coming over from 2025 that we're going to end up going with. We did hit some big milestones. You're going to be able to see the video status, or you're going to be able to see the videos that we're going to be coming out Friday of the status of the channel and see what we ended up having and what goals we met and what goals we didn't meet for 2024. However, I don't want to give away all the content that we're going to end up having, and then we're going to end up having those goals that's going to be coming over at the beginning of next year. Like I said, I'm hoping on having some other content that's going to be over with it. There might not be a single Sundays that's coming over for Sunday. However, well, this Sunday there's going to be one, but next Sunday, because I'm not going to have access to it. But I'm thinking I'm going to be dropping a pretty big video on that day. And I'm going to drop a collection tour is what I'm feeling about. I feel like I'm going to end up dropping that and be able to have that going over. So you end up seeing what the collection is and what we end up having. I'm not going to do a room tour yet because honestly, the room's a mess and it's going to take more work that I would like to probably get that in there. And with the holiday season, that's going to be tough trying to manage to be able to get up to it. And that's going to be, like I said, that might be the big video that might be dropping for Sunday. That way it ends up having that. But like, to keep on paying attention, we're going to end up having different stuff that's going to be dropping, coming over with it. And I do appreciate everyone that's come out, that's still here, that's still chilling along with us while we're being live. Thank you for enjoying this haul that we ended up having from OPB. Again, if you end up shopping for books, go over to OldGrandPriceBooks.com. Use the discount code of 5th of Jack to save $2 off. If you have 4 or more books, rock that code of Jack It Together to save 5% off your entire order instead. Orders that have $30 or more gets free shipping. And they have pretty good sales going on right now as we speak. So if you want some late Christmas gifts, it might not make it to the door on time, but they're going to try their best to get it out to you as soon as they can. And then if you do have a problem with packing peanuts, you can end up sending a message over to Jake over at OPB or to try a private message video to be able to tell them that you don't want peanuts. You want to be able to end up going with the standard cardboard cutout, which they'll end up supplying as well. Reason for the peanuts is because it's a quicker, easier way, and they have more inexperienced people that's packing their orders, and it's a good way to help them out. Like I said, with the big hauls that we ended up having, all 3 hauls had no damage whatsoever. So you still end up having the bomb-proof shipping that you can end up getting from Organic Price Books. Thank you guys again for coming out, checking out this live stream. Thank you, James, for everything that you've done and doing and going to do, because you're amazing. Like I said, you're the unsung hero of all. I said all of comic book YouTube. So you guys have a wonderful night. And until next time, we'll see you guys later.